They stole my dream, signed it away behind my back, and smiled while doing it. But today, they call me a boss. 4 months ago, I was just the girl in the garage with a laptop and a crazy idea. Today, I'm the CEO of the company they thought. They sold. Pushpin. Before we continue, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you believe betrayal deserves revenge. Let's expose what they did. I was 24, fresh out of college, building a simple logistics platform in my parents' basement. My name's Leah, and I wasn't the favorite child, just the quiet one who wasted time on the computer. My older brother, Dylan, was the golden boy, and my parents? They treated him like royalty while I was basically invisible. For 9 months, I worked in silence. I coded through dinners, skipped parties, lived off coffee and microwave noodles. I didn't tell anyone what I was working on, not even my so-called best friend, Kayla, who was practically glued to my mom. But when my prototype finally worked, an AI-powered platform that streamlined small business deliveries, I felt like I'd created something real. Something big. I stupidly told my parents over dinner. I even showed them the demo. My mom nodded slowly. Interesting. My dad asked, is anyone actually going to pay for this? Dylan chuckled and said, cute project, Leah. Maybe it'll get you a real job someday. What I didn't know was that 2 nights later, they invited Kayla over. Behind my back, they pitched my idea to a local investor, claiming it was a family startup Dylan had been mentoring. They used my unfinished pitch deck, faked some screenshots, and sold 70% of it for a quick $90,000. The only thing missing was my signature, but guess what? I had already filed for a provisional patent. And I had proof, all the GitHub commits, the email logs, the design files, timestamped and backed up. I found out when I saw Dylan post about the deal on LinkedIn with the caption, excited to take our logistics tech global. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just got quiet and started building. In 45 days, I rewrote the code from scratch. I pivoted the entire model, registered a new name, ParcelPulse, and launched on Product Hunt. The traction? Insane. Small retailers loved it. Within 2 months, I had my first investor, and 3 months later, a buyout offer from the same investor who thought he bought my parents' version, but I had one condition before signing anything, a meeting. They thought it was just a pitch meeting, but when they walked in and saw me at the head of the table, holding the acquisition papers, I smiled. You sold the wrong version. I own the real one now. My dad's face turned pale. Dylan's fake confidence cracked in seconds. And my mom? She didn't say a word, just sat there clutching her purse like it could protect her from the storm I was about to unleash. The investor, Mr. Rayburn, leaned forward. Wait. Leah, you're the founder of ParcelPulse? I didn't blink. Yes. The sole founder. And the patent you thought you bought? It's invalid. Because it was filed by people who had no legal ownership. My parents tried to interrupt. It was a misunderstanding, my mom stammered. We were just helping you. I slammed the document folder shut. No. You stole from me. You sold something that wasn't yours. You treated me like a background character in my own story. Mr. Rayburn's lawyer cleared his throat. We'll need to discuss this, privately. But I wasn't done yet. I opened my laptop, turned it around, and hit play on a video security footage from our home. The night they met with Kayla. My dad's voice, she'll never know. Just tell him Dylan's the creator, we'll clean it up later. My mom, she's not business-minded. She wouldn't even know what a contract is. And Kayla? Don't worry. She worships you guys. She won't question anything. The silence in the room was thick. My parents looked like ghosts. The investor looked furious. Mr. Rayburn stood up. I'm terminating all discussions with them. Leah, let's step outside. We walked out, and he offered me a new deal, one with me at the center. A full acquisition, full control, and a multi-million-dollar valuation. I didn't sign it right away. I had something more important to do first. That night, I went back home. Dylan was in the kitchen. He couldn't even look me in the eye. Still proud of your LinkedIn post? I asked. He scoffed, but his voice shook. You just got lucky. I walked past him, calm and steady. No. I got smart, after trusting the wrong people. The next morning, I sent a mass email to our extended family. I told them everything. The theft, the lies, the fake launch, and the real one. The replies, proud of you, Leah. I always knew you'd do something great. Can't believe your own parents did that to you. But one reply stood out, from Grandma, you've always been the quiet storm. It's finally your time. And she was right, because what came next was bigger than even I expected. Within weeks, the entire industry was buzzing. Tech blogs picked up my story. The girl betrayed by her family now runs the startup they tried to steal. The headline went viral. Investors flooded my inbox. Clients started switching from their platform to mine because, apparently, ethics still mattered to some people. Meanwhile, Dylan and my parents were in full damage control mode. They tried rebranding their stolen version of the software, but it flopped. No real updates. No real traction. Just a cheap shadow of the real thing. Then came the annual citywide Startup Expo, the same event my parents begged me to attend as a volunteer just a year ago. This time, I was one of the keynote speakers. They were in the audience. I walked onto that stage in a fitted navy blazer, hair tied back, and silence fell across the room. I began, a year ago, I was told I was wasting my time. That no one would care about a girl building software in a basement. That's when I realized, sometimes, the people closest to you are the ones most scared of your potential. The crowd erupted. After the speech, reporters rushed me. Clients shook my hand. Investors whispered offers. And in the middle of it all, I saw them, my parents and Dylan, standing in the back, frozen. My mom tried to smile, like nothing had happened. She mouthed, we're proud of you. But I didn't walk over. I didn't even wave. Instead, I turned to the mic one last time and said, for anyone who's ever been underestimated, betrayed, or stolen from, don't seek revenge. Build so high they have to look up just to see your shadow. Afterward, I went back to my booth. Parcelpulse had the longest line at the expo, but I wasn't done yet. Later that week, I bought out the lease for the office space my parents' failed startup was using. Yes, the exact space. And I sent them a 30-day notice to vacate. My lawyer said, are you sure you want to make it personal? I said, this isn't personal. This is me cleaning house. And just when they thought it couldn't get worse, a video surfaced. One Kayla didn't know I still had her bragging, laughing about how easy it was to manipulate me. How she got a cut from my parents for helping make the deal. The internet tore her apart. Within hours, she was suspended from her job. A week later, she tried reaching out, Leah. I was young. Stupid. Can we talk? I didn't reply, because I had finally learned, silence is louder than revenge. But the next chapter? That's when everything exploded. Just 10 days after the expo, I got a call from a major Silicon Valley VC. They'd seen my interview on a podcast titled, The Quiet Genius Who Outsmarted Her Own Family. They didn't just want to invest, they wanted to scale Parcelpulse globally, and they weren't offering pennies. They came in with a $12 million Series A offer, with full creative control in my hands and zero interference. I sat across from 5 suits in a glass-walled boardroom in San Francisco, every one of them hanging on my words. One of them leaned in. Leah, what made you push through, even after that level of betrayal? I smiled. Because I knew one day, they'd have to sit back and watch me become everything they said I couldn't be. I signed the deal, and the moment the news broke, my parents lost it. They showed up at my apartment unannounced. My dad was shaking. Leah, we made a mistake. We were just trying to help you launch it faster. It was never about stealing. My mom stepped forward, voice softer. Can't we just move past this? We're family. Family, the word hit like a punch. You sold me out like a product, I replied. You only showed up now because you realized I made it further than you ever dreamed I could. And you don't get to celebrate what you tried to destroy. Then I closed the door in their faces. The same week, Dylan posted some half-baked apology on Instagram. A black square. White text. I've made mistakes, and I'm learning from them. The comments shredded him. You didn't make a mistake. You made a choice. Your sister built an empire. You tried to pawn it. And then something wild happened. A former employee from their fake company emailed me. She had proof they tried to launch another version of my platform under a new name, hoping to lure my clients away. She even had screenshots. So I called my lawyer. 2 days later, a cease and desist went out. Then I did something bigger. I bought the domain they were trying to use. I redirected it to my company's homepage, and on that homepage, in bold white letters over a black background, it said, "Ideas can be stolen. Talent can't." The internet went wild. My DMs exploded with people saying they'd been betrayed too. That this story gave them hope. That watching me rise gave them a reason not to quit. I didn't just build a tech company. I built a movement, but what happened next? Let's just say, even I wasn't ready for the email I got from Washington. It landed in my inbox at 6:12 a.m. Marked, "Confidential, White House Innovation Roundtable Invite." At first, I thought it was spam. Some cruel joke. But it wasn't. The government was organizing a panel of young entrepreneurs who had overcome extreme adversity to reshape modern business, and I was personally recommended by 2 national tech advisors. They wanted me, the girl whose parents once said, "You'll never make a living on a laptop," to speak on innovation, resilience, and ethical entrepreneurship. I froze. My hands literally trembled. I remembered sitting in that dusty basement, debugging code at 3 a.m. while Dylan's laughter echoed from upstairs. I remembered my mom turning off the Wi-Fi because she said, "You waste too much time online." I remembered watching my own idea get sold without me, seeing my trust broken by the people who were supposed to protect me. And now, those same people were no longer even a footnote in the rooms I was walking into. When I finally stood in front of the roundtable 2 weeks later in DC, surrounded by world leaders, founders, and reporters, I didn't feel small anymore. I didn't feel like someone they had once discarded. I felt unshakable. I told the truth, about betrayal, about fighting silently, about being underestimated and erased. And how I turned that into fuel. I didn't sugarcoat anything. After the speech, a senator approached me. "We need more stories like yours," she said. "Not just because you succeeded, but because you stayed human while doing it." That night, as I flew back home first class, alone, in peace, I thought about the things I lost along the way. Friendships that proved fake. Family that showed their true colors. Trust that shattered. But then I realized, maybe I didn't lose anything. Maybe I was being cleared of what wasn't meant to follow me to the top. When I landed, a journalist was waiting. "Leah, how does it feel to be the girl who beat her own family at their own game?" I smiled, calm and sharp. "I didn't beat them," I said. "They disqualified themselves the moment they played dirty. I just kept running my own race." Meanwhile, Parcel Pulse tripled in value over the next 6 months. We opened offices in Austin, Seattle, and Toronto. I hired young developers from underprivileged backgrounds, people like me, who were told they weren't good enough, and then came the final twist. My parents, broke, publicly shamed, and desperate, sent me a long email titled, "Let's Start Over." They talked about family healing, how they were proud all along, and how they never meant to hurt me. They even asked if I'd consider bringing them on in some advisory capacity. I stared at the screen for a long time, then I replied, "Start over? I already did. Without you. No hate. No revenge. Just closure." And that's when it hit me. This whole time, I thought the story was about getting even, but it wasn't. It was about becoming undeniable, and now, I walk into rooms they'll never be invited to, own buildings they'll never step foot in, and live a life that's no longer about proving them wrong, but proving to myself that they were never right. This wasn't just payback, this was my rebirth.